All right, so I think that we are live now. So, what's going on, everyone? Jay here from Texas Cloudtown, back again with that weekend wisdom vape vlog and episode 11. So, first, let's show you what I'm vaping on, and we might have a special guest jump in on here in a minute. So, first, I got the Voopoo Drag with the Anarchist Riot on top. And let's see, inside that, I got the Custard Cookie from Sad Boy. Next, I got the Purge Trucked Knurled with the Axial on top. And inside that, I got the Shamrock Cookie. Next one I just got in, but I got the Goon 1.5 Old Faithful, always got it. And I got that on the Saint mod from Times Vape. I just got that in yesterday. Inside that, I got the Key Lime Pie Cookie from Sad Boy. Everything's going to be Sad Boy today, just saying. Next, I got the Dead Goat with Kennedy, always a setup I got also. And inside that, I got some of this butter cookie. Thank you, Frames Janklin. It is a very good substitute for Marcellus from Savage. So, I mean, it is one that I've really been enjoying a lot. And next, probably one of my favorite setups I got right now, I got the Strawberry Jam Cookie. And inside that, I got the Turk V2 with the limited edition Dreamer from Stan Tenacious TX and Times Vape. So that's what I'm vaping on today. Y'all might notice I had a lot of Sad Boy stuff, but that's probably what I'll be vaping on here for a little while. I got pretty much their whole line, and I've really been enjoying it. So I mean, if anyone has not got it yet, you might want to go pick you some up because it is some amazing stuff. So let's get on to the first topic. First topic I have is about the good old Juul. It says the Juul adopts a new where'd it go? Juul adopts new online strategy to curb teen vaping. And the main reason why I want to talk about this one is because it was something that actually is kind of interesting. I thought they were going to do something where they're going to put some kind of like chip in there. I don't know what they were going to do, but they're actually going to start doing it to where they put serial numbers or something on it. I can't remember exactly what it is, but they're going to have it to where if, like, say a principal or a teacher or a parent actually confiscates one of the Juuls, they can go onto Juul.com and they can go through the website portal and they can look up and see where they bought it from, and they can figure out how they're getting it and who they're getting it from. So this is a really good thing that I think. I don't buy Juuls, so it's not going to affect me, but I mean, it might affect some people out there. But I mean, this is one thing that I think will help out with the teens figuring out where they're getting their vape products from. Because I mean, whenever they're getting them, it might be from a friend or even their parents or wherever, but they're going to be able to find out what store actually sold it to the underage person. So that's something I thought that was really interesting because I know Juul was wanting to come out with something along the lines of whenever you bought a Juul product, you had to get your ID scanned, and anyone who wanted to carry their product had to carry their ID scanner so that way they can have it all into a database, and then they'll have your name and when you bought it, where you bought it, and what serial numbers. So this might be something around the same lines, but for right now, this is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to be putting serial numbers or something, or maybe a ID code on there to where you can actually go on there, and then it'll start going towards the FDA to where the FDA can actually look into it and they can start messing with it and seeing, okay, who's actually selling to the kids? Is it Rite Aid? Is it the Walgreens? Is it Walmart? Is it Quick Trip? Because I mean, there's a whole bunch of places down here. Like, I know we don't have a Rite Aid, and that was one of the big subject on the Omies the other day with me on there, and that was one thing I wanted to bring up too. But I mean, we have Walgreens, and that's one of the ones who was getting really hit with the selling vape products or tobacco products to the youth. So I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff that they can start doing to where it's not gonna affect the teens or anything like that, or affect the parents. But this is one thing that I think that it'll the teens won't really know about it, but once they get caught, they'll start knowing about it, and I'm pretty sure they'll try to do something. Because I mean, it might be just like a little coat at the bottom. All they got to do is sit there and scratch it off. But I mean, this is a good start for right now to figure out where it actually is happening at and everything. Um, but yeah, so I mean, that's something I think that will help out. But the one thing I really think that they need to do instead of just and not just Jewel, but like other people in general, they need to just start retrain your employees. I mean, it's not that hard. There's a whole lot more that people can do. I mean, honestly, they don't even have to sit there and do a whole retraining. All they got to do is just reemphasize it, maybe put a sticky note up and put something to where it has, hey, check ID, check ID, check ID. And then, I mean, there's stickers all around there anyway. There's the stickers on the little desk that says we ID, we card, or we this, and it has the little date of when the date is that they have to have been born by. So I mean, it's it's not really like it's that effective, honestly. If they're not checking that, then maybe instead of just reminding, maybe start firing, maybe start doing disciplinary actions or something. Maybe just start firing people. I mean, it's just something that they need to start doing, and they start looking at a lot of the new and a lot of the little businesses like that where they're actually getting them from, or that have actually got a letter from the FDA or a sit down talk with the FDA, need to start looking at stuff like that, because this is something that could ruin their profits. I mean, I know tobacco might not be the biggest profit for them because they are a pharmacy and they do have other stuff in there and like makeup products, and they have groceries and candy and stuff like that. But I mean, tobacco could also be a big contributor into the products that they do make a profit on. So if they do make a profit on them, this is something that they really need to look into, so that way they can make sure that they're still making profits off of it, which I'm not all for profits off of big tobacco or anything like that. But I mean, just as a company wise, this is something that they really need to look into, so that way they don't really push their name into the ground and push their name into the dirt to where they're not being looked at, or to where they can stop getting looked at by the FDA. Um, so I mean, honestly, it just comes down to the laws that we already have in effect. Instead of us changing all the laws and everything for the age of when we want to vape or age of when they can smoke and all this other stuff, maybe they just need to change the way that we're perceiving the laws, or the way that we are actually going about the laws. Maybe they need to have more people enforcing it. I mean, I'm not saying go out there and hire a whole bunch of cops to go undercover and start looking for teens that are vaping or teens that are smoking cigarettes. But I mean, maybe it just is people in general just need to be more aware of it. I mean, it's kind of like at work. One of our sayings at work is safety is everyone, or everyone is over safety. So, I mean, we have a safety coordinator, we have a safety manager and stuff like that, but everyone is in charge of safety. So, I mean, it's not like I can go over there and say something and say, hey, well, you're doing this unsafe. And they're going to say, oh, well, you're not the manager. Well, no, because I'm in charge of safety too, because we have to look out for each other. That's something that should also be in effect with normal human beings in the world, not just the industry or anywhere else, but in the whole entire world. People need to start looking at it a different way and start actually seeing that they can make a change on this. It doesn't have to be us changing laws, because I mean, like something Clown Vapes always says, who's to say that they won't change the law to 50 in a year from now, or 100 in a year from now? I mean, Hawaii said it just as a joke, but I mean, who's to say that one day it won't get changed to that? I mean, and if it's something for vaping products, then I mean, it's just silly. I mean, and then kind of like with the Rite Aid and the all the other places, they don't want to sell vaping products because they're seeing a lot of people get in trouble for them, but they're still going to continue to sell tobacco, which doesn't really make sense. I mean, to me, if you're going to get rid of one of them, get rid of all of it. Don't sit there and just get rid of half, because it's not just the vaping products that are causing all this. Because I mean, those teens probably used to smoke cigarettes, because a lot of the teens have already smoked cigarettes. A lot of parents don't know about, or a lot of their family members don't know about. But there's a lot of times where they say, oh, no, I haven't. But then when it comes down to it, they actually have. I mean, and most times it's around like the 15, 16-year-old age. So, I mean, it's not like parents are dumb and they don't know. It's just they're going to ask, so that way they think that you know that they're looking out after you, and then maybe it'll make you stop. But I mean, my mother never knew I dipped. I dipped whenever I was 16 years old. So I mean, it's stuff like that that the parents aren't really ever going to see, but they're going to be able to tell. I mean, it's your parent instinct, I guess you could say. My mom used to always say that, oh, well, I have a motherly instinct of I know what you're doing at what time. And half the time she was right. She knew I was getting into some shit that I shouldn't have been getting into. But so another thing I want to talk about was the Rite Aid one. And I've already kind of touched on it a little bit right there. But maybe instead of because what they're doing is they're going to stop selling vapor products, but they're going to keep selling tobacco products, which to me doesn't make really much sense. Like I already said, if you're going to stop one, go ahead and stop both. But I mean, it's just the fact that they actually went out there and said that it's pretty much the vaping stuff that's getting the teens, and this whole big teen epidemic reversal, whatever it's called, it's a teen epidemic reversal law or something that's going to be going into effect. I mean, it's crazy how they think that something like this is actually going to really work, and they think it's actually going to do something. But I mean, if it actually does go through, and say if it gets passed or anything like that, the whole vape industry is going to be pretty much torn apart, and it's pretty much going to have to go underground. So I mean, if it does go underground, a lot of the people who do vape, they do know people who they can get products from, which is like, I know people who I can get coils from. I know modders. I know like 2 or 3 or 4 modders I can get mods from. I know people I can get coils from, juice, cotton. You're still going to be able to get all that. So, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff you're going to be able to do. And look who it is.
Hey, Jay. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Michelle?
All right.
All right. Let's see. So I don't know if you caught all that, but what I was talking about.
I didn't. I'm sorry, dude. I've been working.
No, you're fine. What I was talking about was the new thing that the Juul is actually going to be going through to do.
The serial number thing where you can track it by the serial number, so that they can track back. Like, so basically, like if they catch someone underage with a Juul, they can take that and track back where they got it from, which it could be a good thing, but at the same time, it also like. I just like the tinfoil hat part of me is like, people are like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like people being able to, I mean, I don't fucking use Juuls, so I guess it doesn't matter, but yeah, I don't know. It's like just another freedom that we're pissing away.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying too, is, I mean, like, they're going to be able to catch where they bought it from, but they're not going to be able to catch who sold it.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, it might be the person who sold it, but they might have sold to someone who was of age who gave it to someone who was underage. So, I mean, it's something like that I kind of think it's going to be good for. But then, I mean, you could also go out there and just scratch off that serial number, and you're never going to be able to tell where you got it.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's say, hypothetically, I go out, buy a Juul, I leave it laying next to me, someone takes it, right? They get busted with it, and then what? Do I get in trouble? You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bunch of.
I think they're just using it. I feel like Juul is at this point, especially since Altria bought an interest in them. I feel like they're just simply part of big tobacco, part of the government, part of big pharma, just part of that continuing effort to, make cigarettes a thing again. It's all about money, dude.
Oh yeah, because they were also going to be doing something where I've heard that they're going to be. Anyone who carries their products, they're going to have their ID scanner, which their ID scanner is like this little box where it scans it and it puts it all into a database of, okay, you bought this many pods at this time on this day. And honestly, I mean, I don't buy Juul stuff, but someone who does buy Juul stuff, they're getting all your information right there. And then who just bought them out, which is pretty much part of the government. The government's going to know when you're buying everything. And it's something, they're just tracking. They're trying to track where everyone's doing what all they're doing at all times.
I mean, the thing is this. For people that started smoking underage, did they have any trouble getting cigarettes? No. Will they have any trouble getting vapes? No. They'll figure out a way around this. It's not going to do a goddamn thing, but it does help them to paint a picture of, Juul is the one who's doing this very responsible thing. And that's why if you vape, you should only vape Juul. I mean, it's market share. It's just all fucking, I don't know. In a way, there are some days that, and I don't really want this to happen because I know that, like, for smokers who would like to stop smoking, or for like last person who was just here, I was talking to, we're trying to get her mom to stop smoking, and so like Swaggins recommended that we get a like an Infinix, and I've been asking people in our Discord group for like juices, so like that's great. But at the same time, like if they pass all these fucking crazy laws and they make it like illegal or super hard to get, it'll be interesting to see what the underground game looks like. Because
Oh, yeah.
you know it'll be there, you know?
Yeah, and that's what I was just talking about. Is everything's gonna have to go underground.
Yeah.
Like myself, I know at least 3, 4 modders. I know a bunch of people who make juice. I know a bunch of people who make coils. Cotton, you're still gonna be able to get. I mean, you might not
We
be
know
able to get
people who
like
make
cotton bacon and
addies.
stuff. Yeah, and
You know what I
atomizers
mean?
and everything.
Yeah.
And I've got like 50 of them, so I'll be good for a while. But
Exactly. Like, I mean, at this point, you know, because I can DIY juice, I make my own mods, I have plenty of addies that I fucking love. I'm good. You know,
yeah, and I mean, they can't go out there and outlaw batteries or anything
no,
because
I mean, exactly.
for
Look,
flashlights.
believe me, or I'll make them work with different batteries. Like, there's always a fucking way to do it. But the sad part of that argument is, whereas, you know, the experienced vapor, the hobbyist won't really be that affected. I mean, we'll be affected in convenience for sure, but it's the new people, the people that are trying to get off cigarettes, they won't have an option anymore, and that's the sad part, you know?
Yeah, because that's like I said. I mean, I know all these people I can get stuff from, but it's the people out there who are still smoking who might actually want to quit. I mean, not everyone wants to quit smoking cigarettes. I talk to people at work all the time. They're like, I don't have no reason to quit smoking cigarettes. Like, well, it's killing you. I mean, what do you mean you don't have no reason? You want to die at a young age? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that bad. I'm like, all right, whatever, dude.
But
I
so
try to
many
get
of
as
my
many
friends,
people.
in Philadelphia, you know, they're okay. So it's like vape friends are around the world, but like my music friends are all here in Philly, and I'm one of the few that vape. Most of them still smoke cigarettes, and honestly don't want to stop smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
You know, and believe me, I'm always, you know, you should try vaping, or hey, you want to try this? And you know, on occasion, some of those people that smoke, like they've tried my clove, and they're like, oh, I love that, blah 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 blah, but they still want their cigarette.
Yeah. Yeah. And most of the people I've helped quit have quit for good. But I mean, there's some people out there where they're just stubborn and don't want to.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
speaking of vaping and what you're vaping on, what do you have in there? Or what all are you vaping on today?
This is a dual dime, dual parallel, dual MOSFET with a TM24 Pro with an Eclipse cap. This is my everyday, you know, everyday vape. I love this thing. I mean, I have a whole bunch next to me, of course, as I'm sure you do, but this is the one that's most frequently in my hand. I would say slightly less frequently is my dual parallel box. Really, Michelle? Come on, brain, turn it back on. This is it. It's not parallel even. Really? God damn it. It's a PWM box. It's a series box. PWMs are series. And I use this thing a lot. And I've been using this a lot too lately. I've been using Mark Kloss Warlock's hammer that he made me. He's got this for me, and I fucking love it with a dead goat. And this is a great vape.
That engraving on it, though, is just so amazing.
I know. I fucking, like, seriously. Hey, James Franklin. I love that I had no idea about it for apparently a long time, and I do. I love it. I love it, and I also love it because, like, I also know, like, there's a couple things. Like, I know how hard it probably was for Stan to get the Altoids part of it, because they're, you know, the artwork that you see is you know, it's not that simple, and he was able to simplify it and make it kind of, you know, make it work beautifully, and even got my logo to work well.
Yeah.
Which is a color logo, and so I know that there was probably a lot of work behind the scenes for that, and I also appreciate the fact. I'm not sure if Mark's listening at the moment, but when as a modder, if you build a mod for another modder, it's always like super, like, I don't know what the right word is. Not like paranoid or scared per se, but you're just like
trying to be on your A game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it has to be fucking perfect because you know who's looking at it, you know? And Mark was telling me he was feeling the same way building my box. And but man, he did it. I mean, this thing is fucking flawless. Like, his workmanship on this was just absolutely nothing but perfection.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I love that guy. I love all the Omis.
Oh yeah, all the Omies and Stooges, they're all very good, and they all help out with whatever you need help with.
Exactly. You know, like I was alluding to a little bit earlier. I have this friend who is trying to get her mother to stop smoking, and she got her an Infinix. She tried my clove. She kind of liked it. Her daughter got her a tobacco with I think it was like a tobacco, like a vanilla tobacco, and she wasn't like that crazy about it because it was too sweet for her. And so all I had to do is I'm like, hey, I'll hop in Discord and I'll put it in there that like I need a juice for someone that likes Marlboro, and you know I got 3 recommendations, you know, and I know they're good recommendations because people in Discord don't fuck around.
Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the first place I turn to if I have any questions. Like this morning, I had a
Yeah,
question about my Revenant cartel. For some reason, I put batteries in there, but whenever I take them out and I have to flip them, I have to put them in the other way. It'll turn on every now and then. And I got with Mark, and he sent me a video right away. And I mean,
yeah,
that's the first place. Even if it's like a mod, I'm like, hey, do you think I should buy this? Everyone's like, no or yes. So that's
yeah.
one thing I really like about it is you got a whole support group right there of people who can help you out with anything you need help with.
Exactly. And it's like, I mean, I realize that, you know, like anyone else, you could just hit Google and Google it, but it's like you'll get a lot of information. You're not sure which of it's like really good. But with our Discord group, it's like you know you're gonna get a good answer from the first try. It's fucking great. I love that aspect of it.
Oh yeah. All right, so let's see what other topics I wanted to bring up. So I already talked about the Jewel and how all that's going to go, and I was just right before you got on, I was talking about the Rite Aid stuff and how I think that everything. Okay, so like in here in Texas, we don't have the Rite Aid. We have Walgreens, and that's
Yeah.
something that's
In,
been
in
brought up to
Philly,
the
in
FDA.
Philly, you actually have like a couple blocks away from me is Ridge Avenue, and you can go to a CVS, or you can go to a Rite Aid.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, it's just a drugstore, but I believe they get a good amount of their income from their tobacco sales,
Yeah,
traditional cigarettes. And so, with their decision to stop selling vape products, it's kind of hypocritical.
yeah, yeah.
We don't want to sell this because of what's the word that they like to use?
Because of the epidemic.
Yeah, thank you. The epidemic, like really. But yet they have no problem selling their cancer sticks.
Hmm.
You know, like if you're going to stop selling vape products because you are a drugstore, then stop selling cigarettes as well.
Yeah, and that's I mean, especially for a pharmacy. Well, I mean, it all ties into the government and everything. But I mean, like here we don't have Rite Aid. We have the Walgreens and CVS, but our CVS in Texas, I believe all of them are tobacco, smoke free, all that.
Okay.
They've been for a while, but
Yeah.
Walgreens, I know that they got a letter and they had to sit down with the FDA and everything for to actually talk about this because of so many teens being able to get the vape products and cigarettes from them. So I mean, one thing I brought up is, and I always bring up is, I don't think that it should be, hey, America, let's make a new law. It's no, we have thousands and millions of laws that we can stick
Yeah.
with
And it's a
instead of
drugstore's right. Look, you're right. Don't make a law. The drugstore, it's their decision. It's their company.
Mhm.
If they want to sell vape products, if they want to sell cigarettes, that's their call. And if it's something that makes them money, then it makes them money. That's fine. If they have any kind of moral backbone, then don't sell cigarettes because it's harmful, but maybe sell vapes because you're a drugstore. You sell things to help get people better. Vaping, while not 100% safe, is still 95% safer than cigarettes, and it's a healthier alternative, which to me logically falls in line with what a drugstore should be doing. But again, it's up to them. It's their decision.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, I mean, stop trying to put new laws in effect.
Yeah.
We're getting crazy amounts of laws, and I mean, just for vaping in the last 2 years for all these different reasons. Instead of putting new laws in effect, why don't we just go back to our own laws and we actually enforce them? And I mean, if people aren't
Yeah.
enforcing them, start firing people,
Yeah,
start
exactly.
having companies to where they're getting fined for it. I mean, I'm pretty sure
Look,
you get hit with $100,000 fine as a whole company. I'm pretty sure you're gonna rethink what you're doing.
if your child can join the military at 18, they should be able to vape or smoke. They're an adult. They're legally an adult. They have to pay their taxes. They have to be a citizen of the United States. They should have the same rights as everybody else. As far as making it 21, you can make it 21, but the 18-year-old's still going to smoke or still going to vape, still going to drink, still going to do anything that they fucking want. You know what? If the government wants to like busy themselves with laws and start making laws again, like campaign finance reform, start fucking making laws to clean up their own fucking act. It's like what's the old saying? Look in your own backyard before you look in mine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's you said it perfectly right there. I mean, instead of all these new laws coming into effect, why don't we just enforce the old ones? And it's pretty much the FDA trying to cover up stuff that they can't, that they're saying, oh, we can control by putting a law in effect, or the government, and then they can't control it. So they're like, okay, well, we need to put 3 laws in effect for this one law.
And making the law and enforcing it are 2 different things. Yeah.
And I actually talked to my mayor not too long ago, and he said, I think if you're a parent and your son or daughter can go fight for our country while we all sit over here on our ass. Yeah, my mayor. Yeah. He said, I think if we're over here on our ass sitting down, but yet if you're 18, you can enlist to the Army or Navy or wherever you want to go for the military. He said, I think not even just tobacco-wise or vaping. He's like, I think you should be able to drink.
Yeah.
He said,
they're drinking anyway.
That's
the it's not funny. It's the sad part of it is that they're drinking anyway. I mean, come on. I'm sure there's a few cases where they didn't, but most teenagers drink before they're before they're 21. Most.
Oh yeah.
I drank so much in fucking high school that by the time I got to college, I was like, yeah.
I
was like, not really that interested.
Yeah, whenever I got to 21, I was like, oh, okay, this is how it feels to be 21. I can go buy it with it. They asked for me for my ID. I don't have to leave. All right, cool.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
So a question I have for you is, where in the next couple, I don't want to say by next year, where do you think vaping will be? Because, I mean, it could pretty much only take 2 scenarios. If we can actually get people to start being active and start doing stuff, and maybe people start listening, or we could have people just still not do anything, and pretty much the whole thing gets shit down the drain.
My answer is going to seem kind of contrary because I'm trying to be a realist, and I'm still not. I mean, I'm going to still do what I can do personally, but we are up against a really big machine that that's attacking vaping on so many fronts. From media. There are not that many media companies, and the people that are actually putting out shows and things that people watch on TV, for the most part, when you see someone vaping on a primetime show or whatever, it's always kind of like the loser thing. It's not a healthy thing. It's, the guy's like, a douchebag or whatever. They always make it seem like a douchey thing to do, to vape, and that's what it is. Occasionally you get someone like Dave Chappelle who'll do a stand-up act and he's vaping the whole time, but I'm pretty fucking sure he wasn't vaping e-liquid. That's the other thing. I'm pretty goddamn sure he had a cardo on that thing. But there's a lot of money behind that movement. There are some of the biggest corporations in our country behind that movement. And I think that there is a definite chance that we are all going to be completely fucked. You're going to have pod systems available at probably like convenience stores or whatever, and it's going to be all tobacco flavored. And I think that that's something that could really happen, and everything else will simply be illegal. You won't be able to mail order. And then in that scenario, then you'll have that underground movement like we were just talking about, and you'll have people buying things from China. They're going to be shipped over as, like Mark Cloth says, flavored lube. And, but it won't be labeled vape products, obviously. And people will get some crap from China, and it'll make it harder for the people like myself to get like nicotine to put into the DIY juice. We probably won't have any trouble with the flavorings. Still won't have trouble with the VG and the PG because you can get that at very far away from vape things. You can just go on Amazon and buy VG or PG. Yeah. But I mean, I think that's a very real possibility. You know, another scenario is that for whatever reason, the media catches on, or maybe you get some people that are, famous, and particularly actors who start vaping, and maybe we start seeing vaping in a positive light in the media. And I think that could swing things for us. Like, I think that's one of the only things that really has some power against big pharma, big tobacco, and the government is, do you know what I mean by that? Like, I mean, I realize
Yeah.
that we're all trying our butts off, but we're so small compared to, like, it's a David and Goliath kind of situation.
Oh yeah, like if someone like one of the like if Will Ferrell was out there saying, "Oh
Yeah,
yeah, vaping helped me so much. I thought I was about to die, and then all of
yeah.
a sudden now I'm good." I'm pretty sure some more medias would start listening instead of
Seriously,
just
like, could
yeah.
you imagine? Like, that would be massive if someone like that came out and did that.
Hmm.
That literally could be like the spark that gets this, to something that's legit, like legitimate. That is like, it is simply like, oh, you smoke? Why don't you try vaping? It's healthier. That everyone would say that. But you know, my mom and dad, they're like Fox News watchers, and they're convinced vaping is like worse for you than cigarettes. Like,
Hmm.
not even like as bad. They are convinced it's worse.
Yeah, and that's something like I think Sean sent me a Sean Typhon, the angry hippie. He sent me something on that saying pretty much it showed the statistics what of who actually thought vaping was good for you, and most of the people who don't vape or don't smoke or even smokers thought that vaping is worse for you. And I mean, there for a while it was okay, yeah, vaping is better for you. And then now you got all these people from the FDA, you got the Truth Campaign, you got all those people. And the thing is, that's one of the things that I actually like watching is the Truth Campaign. When I see those commercials, I like watching it because they don't really try to badmouth vaping, but then again, they do because they don't ever say,
Aren't they
"Oh,
the
it's
ones
gonna
that? But aren't they
kill
the
you."
ones that like had the commercial with like the bugs crawling in around in your brain because of vaping?
No, that was because of cigarettes, I think. But I know for vaping, they've used the puppets a lot for vaping, and one of them is, "Oh, a Juul pod contains the same amount of nicotine as
Yeah,
a
of
pack of
course they don't
cigarettes."
explain that even a little bit. That's completely misquoted. Yeah, a Juul pod is equivalent to a pack of cigarettes, meaning that you could use that as long as you would use a pack of cigarettes. But the way that they usually state it, though, it's like one cigarette and 1 Juul, and 1 Juul is 50 times stronger than, you know what I mean? Like, they don't put it
Yeah.
in the right frame of reference.
Yes, I mean it's like they somewhat try to badmouth it, but then they don't really. But then to the people who don't really know what's going on with vaping and how vaping works, and nicotine is not what's killing people, it's the tars and the chemicals and all the stuff inside the combustible cigarette that's actually killing people.
Yeah.
They're not really knowing that, so they kind of just don't really think about it
But I
as
mean,
well.
what's the carcinogenic like factor when it comes to tobacco? Because isn't it true though that people that like just dip, where they're putting like tobacco,
Mm.
and they can still get cancer from that though, right?
Yes, that's one. And like my gums, if I showed them, like, yeah, I'd be like, ooh, my gums are like real low on my bottom.
Yeah.
And I mean it kills your gums. You can eventually start using teeth. And I was one of the people I was like, man, you know what? I don't want to be that 30-year-old who has half his teeth missing because I wanted to dip and be an
Yeah.
idiot for 15 years. So that's one of the big reasons why I started vaping. But I mean, you can still get throat cancer because I mean, if you swallow it, you're still getting the tobacco and the nicotine and everything that goes into your throat. I mean, and you can still get mouth cancer. You can't get lung cancer from it, I don't think. But I mean, there's so much cancer you can actually get from it. I've actually
Yeah.
met a couple people who've had mouth cancer from it, and it like their teeth and gums were
Oh
all
God.
kinds of jacked up. And I mean, it's just something that I mean, like just like cigarettes, it's not any healthier for you than cigarettes.
No, but
It's
it's
still
funny how
addictive.
like that's the one flavor that they want to make legal though.
Oh
Tobacco.
yeah, yeah.
And I mean, I know that we just talked about someone specifically who I was looking for like a tobacco flavor for, but I also come across plenty of people that if they're going to get off cigarettes, they don't want the tobacco.
Hmm.
They don't want that taste. They didn't even think it was that great to begin with. They want something else.
Yeah, because most people I get off of vape or I get on vaping to get off of cigarettes, they're like, well, uh, so I mean, I can get whatever flavor I want, right? I'm like, dude, I got like at least 100 different
Yeah.
juices and each one's a different flavor, and they're like, So what if I want something that tastes like strawberry lemonade? I'm like, they got it. What if I
Mhm.
want something that tastes like apple pie or a
And
shamrock
you'll still get
cookie?
your nicotine,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a 95% chance that you won't get cancer. You won't get
Mm-hmm.
anything from it. It's actually probably way higher than that. And I've been seeing like 97% here and there too. I don't know.
Yeah.
The bottom line is like, oh my god, if they decided that taking airbags out of cars was 97% safer than having an airbag in, I'm not saying that is, but if that was the case, they would do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
listen, there's these two airplanes you can go on. Okay, if you go on that flight over there, there is 100% chance you're going to crash and die. If you go on this one, there's a 95% chance you'll be safe and happy. I don't know, which plane are you going to take? I mean, like it's not a difficult decision, but for some reason, not for some reason, we know why, for money. They've clouded this decision so much in our country to make it so that the general population thinks it's actually worse. I mean, oh my god.
Yeah, that's one thing I think as the government and as the people who we look for, or as we look to for everything and all of our answers and everything, I think that they should be putting out more of the truth. And that's one thing I don't see is, okay, well, how are y'all gonna say that y'all are the government, y'all are the people who lead this country, y'all the people that anyone from another country needs to look for is y'all, but yet y'all can't even tell the truth to your own. It's almost like you can't even tell the truth to your own people. So it's almost like you're going to work, you're working for a boss that's gonna lie to you all day,
The
and you're
government
still
is
gonna work
working
for them.
for whoever got them in office.
Mhm.
9 times out of 10, it's a giant corporation.
Yeah, yeah.
That's who they owe favors to. That's who they have allegiance to. They don't have allegiance to the people. They really don't. They don't give a shit. I mean, people that politicians in general, there are some obviously that want to do it for maybe the good reasons, but most of them just want their personal fame. They want to make money from it. It's a good way of life, but they're not doing it because they're altruistic people.
Yeah.
I don't know. God, my view right now is so negative. It's ridiculous.
That's perfectly fine. I mean, every now and then we need a negative view to maybe get some people going because, I mean, I see there's so many people who don't know what's actually going on with vaping who vape, and then there's people who do know what's going on but still don't really give a shit to actually do anything,
Yeah.
and maybe,
Jay, I'm
maybe
gonna
some
go grab
negativity every
I'm gonna
now
grab a
and
candy real quick. My throat is
then. No, you're fine.
killing me. Hold on.
So, like she was saying, is there's so much going on to where this could go underground, but what we really need is we need people out there to help us out to where it won't go underground. Because the more we do now to help it out and to actually fight this, all the bills that you see out there on Instagram, Twitter, Google, your news, all the bills you see that you can sign a petition to go against, start signing those so that way we can actually go against these laws. And these petitions actually do help. And I know that you can donate money for them too to help them out and everything. But I mean, there's so much that we could do now to try to stop this from going to the underground, but it's just going to take more people to actually come together and start doing something about it. Because I mean, if they see a rally and there's 10 people, they're not going to give a shit. If there's one person who comes to a town hall or a statewide
I don't think
meeting,
it's enough.
they're
I
not
don't
going to
think
care.
it's enough. It's not enough for us to go to these meetings.
Because I mean, we only get 1 minute anyway, or something like that, to talk.
If we're going to go anywhere, we have to go in numbers, and that means not just the people that are already in the loop. You have to go to those friends of yours that are maybe on the fence about switching and say, hey, do me a favor, will you come along to this? You know what I mean? Like we have to get more and more people. I mean, if we're grassroots, our goal is to get as many people, as many bodies into the movement as possible, and that's one way to fight all the bullshit advertising and all the bullshit news that are telling us that it's bad, is to educate people so that they know better. But it just feels like such an impossible task all the time.
Yeah, and I can't remember which one it was. There was somewhere where they were having a hearing about it, and they brought a bus full of teens and kids who actually did vape or something like that, or they said they vaped or were paid to say they vaped or whatever. But they brought a bus full of them, and I can't remember who it was, but someone commented on that and said, you don't ever. He said, well, the next time there's one, maybe we should get a bus full of people with COPD and take them there to show them what smoking and what tobacco can actually do to
Exactly.
people.
Yeah,
But
that's
that's
a good
one thing
point.
that Sean talked about is tobacco's not going to go anywhere. I mean, this country's not going to go anywhere with tobacco like you see all these other countries like New Zealand and I can't remember where the other one was. I think it was Britain or something like that. But there's these other countries that are trying to go tobacco free. But I mean, you're never going to see that from us just because that's what we started as. And whenever the country first started and all the pilgrims came, that's the first thing they started playing. It's the
Tobacco
first thing
leaf.
they
Yeah.
started selling it. So I mean, I already know that that's not going to happen.
I mean, much of the economy in North Carolina, Virginia, these areas depend on that money.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that you have to. People should have a choice.
Yeah,
That's what I thought freedom was about, having the choice of freedom. You know that, but I don't know. We're not free. That's the other thing.
yeah,
We're not.
yeah.
I
As
can't
much as
decide
we
to not
think we
pay
are
my
free, we're
taxes.
not.
I'll go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which means then you have to have a job. You have to you have to do so many things. You have to have health insurance. You have to have car insurance if you're going to drive. We're not free.
Yeah,
It's the illusion. We're freer than maybe some other people in the world, and not as free as other people. But choice.
yeah.
We should have the choice to smoke cigarettes. We should have the choice to vape. We should have the choice to smoke the ganja on April 20th, 420.
Oh yeah,
And like you said earlier, I mean, like they're so busy making laws, to try to curtail the epidemic. Make like I said, make some fucking laws to like fix the system.
Mm-hmm. So we got about 15 minutes left. I would have done this at the beginning, but you were busy working and everything. So tell everyone about yourself and what you do, and kind of what you do for the community. Because I mean, you do a lot of stuff for the community, and you're really helpful. So I want everyone to know what you do and who Michelle Lynn really is.
I am a nobody, and I watch some YouTube videos, and that's about it. That's me.
She's a Rick and Morty fan. That's about
Oh, I
it.
do fucking love Rick and Morty. Yeah, so I make Dull Dime mods, and I give them to people that don't ask for them. I don't sell them. I try to spread the gospel of vape. More of my efforts are just like around town, go to the local vape shop, and being on YouTube helps because usually I go into a local vape shop and they know who I am, so it's a lot easier to be like, okay, let's talk about your advocacy game. What are you doing? And as you know, we just started. Sorry, I've got like this candy like in my cheek. I feel like a chipmunk. We just started the new show. That's what she said with Ruby Roo, Jess Marie, Double Helix Designs, Angela Garrity from Vaping Magazine, Danielle Jones from Vaping Magazine, and Kasa. And I feel like we've got a pretty good panel, and a panel of women that made it, using their brain or their creativity, which is nice. But there's so many vape shows, and there's so many dude vape shows that we just really wanted to have like an all-female perspective with vaping, and also to make it fun. Like we're gonna we are going to be just like half vapey topics and half general topics.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been working really hard at that, and we had our first show and that went really well, thank God. And we hope it catches on. We really do. Let's see, I told you that I make mods, which you knew, of course. I'm a musician. I have an album out called Villa Mod, which can be downloaded at michellelynn.bandcamp.com or iTunes or Spotify or any streaming service will have it. And then I do electrology, which is like hair removal. That's how I make like money to fucking eat, and that's me. Very simplified.
See, I didn't know that part about you, but I didn't know you were a musician. And make sure everyone goes and checks out her music.
Well, the problem is if you're not like signed to like a major label, you're gonna be homeless.
Yeah.
So everyone who I play with around here, Everyone has second, third jobs. That's just
Mhm.
the reality of today.
Oh yeah. Hey, you can't make it with just most times if you don't have one really good paying job, you can't make it with just that. I mean,
No.
me, I make pretty good money at one job. I'm still looking for maybe finding a new job or another job because there's a lot of different things going on with that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, with inflation and with the widening of, the gap between the ultra rich and the normal people,
Hmm.
back in the 50s, and it didn't have to be the guy, but it was, the guy could make a living and raise a family. One job, raise his family. Done. Nowadays, both people have to work. Both people may have multiple jobs. It's gotten ridiculous, and this just keeps getting worse.
Hmm. Yep. So okay, we got about 12, or we got about 10 minutes left. So everyone, make sure you go check out her music. Her music is really good. They got
Thank
a
you.
really good album out there. I'm honestly not a big folk rock or anything like that kind of fan, but I mean, I listened to it and the whole time I could understand the words. It's not like this new rap where you can't understand words or anything, but it was just you could actually. It felt like you were actually in a story whenever you listened to her music. So I mean, it was something
Yeah,
that's really good.
I mean that's the thing about. I mean, I'm a folk lover,
Hmm.
or as we like to say, I'm a folker, and like Folk Fest is really big in Philadelphia and things like that. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I mean, Philly has a lot of great music, and it's not all folk music. There's like there's rock and rap and whatever, but the folk community is very strong here, and I've always really loved the tradition of storytelling. I mean, for me, that album's just basically all about just fucking bleeding my heart and soul onto, paper and getting those words down and dealing with my son's death. But folk music in general is a storytelling kind of music, and I've always just loved that aspect of it. And it goes back to like, I mean, I'm old, but when I was in high school, like I was listening to Bob Marley and the Grateful Dead, and those were songs that told a tale, and
Hmm.
that's what I like. But I mean, I can appreciate like if somebody likes this music or that music, that's fine. It's whatever makes you happy.
Hmm.
It's just that's what makes me happy.
Yeah, and like me, like I listen to a lot of country music and some rap here and there and rock, but I like a lot of the older rap. But the country I listen to, I don't really listen to like the new, all whatever kind of country that is. I mean, with the pop beats and everything
Some
in it,
some
I
maybe some
listen
like
to.
Merle Haggard.
Yeah, oh yeah, I listen to a lot of the older country,
Yeah.
like Hank Williams, Waylon. I listen to all of them. But and then like all the newer country I listen to is all this Texas country, and a lot of it is a lot of folk, or it's like country and rock, or country and
Yeah.
folk, or country and blues,
Well,
and
country isn't
that's
that
something I
far
really like.
from folk music. I mean, I've been in a lot of bands, and there's a really big bluegrass movement around this area, and I've been in bluegrass bands. I even was in a country band, and it was like we kind of made it as a joke, but I mean, we genuinely liked the music we played. It wasn't like the music was a joke. It was just like there's a place called Bob and Barbers in Philly, and they have a country night every week, and we wanted to have a band to play a country night. So
Yeah.
in Philadelphia, we don't like we have, I guess technically we have townhouses, but most places call a townhouse a townhouse. In Philly, they're row houses,
Mm.
and so our band was Row House on the Range, and we just had a lot of fucking fun playing country music. And I love the bass lines to country. They're usually pretty simple, but just fun and grooves. And
Hmm.
I don't know. I could get behind that for sure.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we talked about you make music. We talked about how you make mods for the. And just so everyone knows, none of her mods are for sale. She makes them
I
out of
know.
Altoids tins,
I'm an
and
asshole.
I think I think when I very first started vaping, I probably asked you if you could sell
Everybody
me
does.
one, and I this was like probably 6 years ago because I remember seeing them about 6 years ago, and I'm like, dude, those are so cool. I mean, I want one. I kept looking for them. I think I might have eventually found it on you or Grim Green or whoever had one, and I tried to ask, oh, well, where do you get those from? How do you buy them?
You
And this was
don't.
a long time ago. And then now, look, I'm sitting here on a stream with you. So I mean, it's something that's really cool that the vape community can come together. And for everyone out there who is thinking about switching or has not thought about switching or anything, the vape community is a bunch of nice people who used to smoke. Because usually when you think of smokers, you think of a bunch of assholes or a bunch of people who are just stubborn. But then whenever you think about the vape community, that's one thing I say is, oh, the vape community, they're like welcoming with open arms. They're always so helpful. They do this, they do that. But the thing is, they used to all be smokers, or the majority of them used to be smokers. So, I mean, it's crazy how you can have one thought of one group of people, but then
because you don't think about smokers like you don't see like smoking Discord groups, do you?
no,
I mean, like there isn't that sense of family that there is with vaping. There is a definite sense of family, which is pretty great. And the thing that you really learn is that no matter, I feel like, again, this is government, this is the media, they're constantly trying to stick everybody into a camp and keep us arguing with each other, because if we're arguing with each other, we're not noticing how fucked we are getting. But what you find out, you can talk to someone who might be, I could be like super liberal, you could be super conservative, and then once you get to know each other, you find out that you actually both want the same goddamn things, and we're not different. And it's that strength of community that vaping has that's pretty amazing. I just wish it was a bigger community and we had some more strength in numbers, and then I wouldn't feel so just defeated all the time with all the crap that's been going on.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like you can't even breathe nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
You go look on Vape News magazine, or you look anywhere for a new law. You even Google it. You type in one law. By the time you look into that one enough, there's already another article about another one or for somewhere else, and it might be the exact same thing, just somewhere else. And it's honestly super hard to keep up with. Like me, I try to keep up with my local as I can, and then I start expanding as much as I can. But I try to stay as much local as I can to make sure I know what's going on around me and around the U.S. And then I start branching off more places. But
yeah,
it's you can't even breathe nowadays with how much is actually going on out there with all these laws, and it's just crazy how much time these politicians and the government think about, hey, well, what's another way we can stop this, or what's a way we could do this, instead of what's a way we can actually help the people of America. And
exactly. And that's the thought that like never crosses their mind. How can we help people? How can we make people live longer lives? How can we let them lead healthier lives? No, because it's about fucking money. It's I don't know. But the thing is, it's nice is on our new show, That's What She Said, because we've got Danielle Jones, because we've got Angela Garrity. I mean, fuck. Poon Sauce, most of those articles that he reads about are written by Angela Garrity. We have her on our show. We have Danielle Jones, who's a board member in CASA. So, like, at least when it comes to the advocacy portion of our new show, like, we are so, like, on the edge of what's going on. And it's so great having them because it takes a ton off of me, off of Ruby, because we know that we have people on our panel who are going to be about as up to date as possible, because like you were just saying, it's super hard to stay on top of it because there's so much constantly going on.
Yeah. And so everyone, make sure y'all go check them out. Y'all show is at 9 p.m. Central, I believe.
Yep.
9 p.m. Central on Thursday, right after the Grim Green live vlog. So
yeah,
go watch them. Go watch him. He's the opening act for them. And then you get to go watch all these beautiful women who want to just speak and want to have a good time. Because, I mean, they all know what they're talking about. And I was sitting there listening to it last time, and y'all started talking about motorcycles, and most of the ladies in there knew exactly what they're talking about. And I'm like, dang, they know a lot about more than just vaping.
Yeah, like I don't ever talk about, well, not ever, but I mean, I rarely talk about like that I raced cars for 20 years, and I got a chance to talk about that. That was fun.
Yeah, so I mean, their show is just, I've only watched the first episode, and I'm already hooked, so I'm ready for the next couple episodes. So
yeah,
make sure everyone goes out there and watches them, because it's a really good show. It's a really good time, and I've heard that there's so many different topics that y'all have that y'all can't even get to them all in 1 week. So
no, we have so many that, what's going to happen is basically every show will hit advocacy, but other than that, like, we're not going to be doing Vape-a-Phase You know, we did one this week for the first show, which is how much watts. And but because we all pretty much vape the same thing all the time, like we just don't want to waste time with it. And as far as the topics go, you know, we have a couple of columns. We have like our vapey topics, and it's just we're just gonna randomly pick them. And we want a certain format to the show, but at the same time we want to keep things kind of as random as possible as well, so that it doesn't get boring.
Yeah. So y'all heard it here. Make sure you go check it out. They've got too many topics for one show, which is great. So you're never going to see the same thing. I mean, whenever you start watching a show, sometimes you start seeing the same thing over and over. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to go watch it again. It's going to be the exact same questions, exact same thing. So make sure y'all go watch it out. It's always going to be new. It's always going to be fresh. I mean, it's always going to be wanting to have people come in for more. So that's
and
something
also, check out on Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, so 9:30 Central. Wait, 7:30 Central? God damn it.
I think it's an hour
It's the other way. No, it's 7:30 your time.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Vape Show over on Vaping with Ken's YouTube as well.
Yeah, and that's always a good show too. That's a show that they always do hit some good vape topics on, and they also have a lot of fun with too, and a lot of joking around.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't always be super serious about everything. I mean, there is a lot of stuff going on, but we all have to take a lighter note, look at it every now and then, and because I mean, we all don't want to be pissed off all the time because of all these laws. So we always got to have fun.
And I hope this isn't stepping over the line, but starting in less than a minute, head over to Poon Sauce. Oh, really?
Yep.
You go ahead then, buddy. It's all you.
In about 1 minute, head on down to Poon Sauce McNasty Show and make sure you go check him out. He's got a good one. He's got Frames Janklin on there, and they're pretty much going to talk about how did they get started and and they're going to talk pretty much about how they know each other, and it's probably going to be a really good show. So,
and that's exactly where I'm going right now. So,
So I'll see y'all later. Hope y'all have a good time. Go over there, watch his show, and make sure we keep vaping on, and let's make sure we spread the word about advocacy to not only the vapors, so we're not talking inside of a room to ourselves, listening to an echo. Let's make sure we get it out there to everyone else who doesn't even vape, and let's vape on, guys.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jay.
All right, I'll see y'all later.